Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to MADARA Cosmetics Investor Conference webinar about financial results and company's activities of the fourth quarter of year 2017. Today we are hosted by MADARA Cosmetics member of the board and shareholder, Mr. Uldis Iltners. Before I give the floor to Uldis, a short reminder about the agenda of the webinar. As always, we will start with the company's presentation, after which Uldis will answer all your questions. If you would like to use this unique opportunity to ask a question directly to Mr. Iltners, please use the question box on the right-hand side of your screen. All questions will be addressed after the presentation. However, you can send the questions in during the presentation. Uldis, I invite you to start the presentation.
Good afternoon, dear participants. Thank you for joining the first MADARA Cosmetics webinar as a Nasdaq listed company. The purpose of today's webinar is to present management report on the unaudited financial statements for year 2017. You're welcome to send in your questions and I will be glad to answer them at the end of this webinar. My name is Uldis Iltners and I'm the board member and CEO of MADARA Cosmetics. Before we start, just a few words about the company. MADARA Cosmetics is the leading and fastest growing skincare producer in Baltics, specialized in producing of EcoCert certified natural and organic cosmetics. Our brand MADARA and Mossa hold leading positions in Latvia and Finland in corresponding market segments and have a strong base for further growth in other European markets as well as several markets outside Europe. The 12 months results of 2017 continue the established growth trends. Turnover increase by 26%, EBITDA grows plus 35% and net profit reaches an amazing plus 54% increase. Similarly to 2016, almost 90% of the turnover came from EU countries, including Latvia. The proportion of EU countries, excluding Latvia, slightly increased to 60.5% of turnover. Also, the sales distribution of MADARA products by product categories retained former tendencies. The most important categories are still facial care products and anti-age cosmetic products. In comparison to 2016, the proportion of anti-age cosmetics increased by almost 3 percentage points. If we look at the sales distribution by type of activity, we can see similar numbers as in previous periods, with slight increase of Mossa products proportion, which increased by 1 percentage point to 9% from total revenues. And in our opinion, there is still quite a good potential for further growth for Mossa brand, of course also for MADARA brand. Here we can see the overview of financial results. The consolidated turnover reached 7.4 million euros, which is 26% increase comparing to 2016. At the bottom line, we reached the best ever result. The net profit margin amounts to 16.8% or 1.24 million euros in absolute numbers. This result is after writing off all IPO related costs, which were close to 300,000 euros. Net cash flow of operating activities 1.46 million euros. And then revenue guidance for this year remains 10 million euros. We are expecting to continue to grow in all our existing channels, plus start several new channels and customers. Also, the launch of new products in the first half of this year will give a positive impact on sales. If we look at the most important events of 2017, then we have to mention following main events. So first, successful initial public offering and admission to trading on Nasdaq Riga First North Alternative Market. Also, the market reaction after the IPO was positive, and in almost 2 months period, the share price increased by 20%, and in the end of December, the share price was €7.50. In the end of last year, we also launched our shareholder benefit program, and the purpose of the program is to form closer relations with our shareholders, giving material and non-material advantages. And now, since we started the shareholder benefit program, already 1/3 of shareholders have registered, and still the registration is open, and those investors who have not registered yet are very welcome to register for shareholder benefits program. Then the next important event is that 2017 was the first full year of activity at our new location at Zeltiņu Street in Marpe. And what we could see from the last year, that the new production process is much more efficient than the previous one, and we can see this also in increase of our brutto gross profit margin, which increased from 56.7% in 2016 to 62.9% in 2017. We also continued to invest in our production equipment. Last year we invested in production equipment 148,000 euros in order to increase the production efficiency and work productivity. And the investments in production process improvements will be continued also this year and next years. And the current production capacity is still sufficient to continue growth at current speed. So as mentioned already previously, we think that at this point we use approximately half of the theoretical production capacity. So there is still way to go and to grow. Then also important to mention that we had significant achievements in our R&D activities. The biggest achievement is that we, after 5 years research and development, we finally have a solution for sun protection based on mineral filters. And this is probably in our industry, in certified natural and organic cosmetics, one of the technically most difficult solutions and formulations. And yes, we are proud to say that we have a solution for SPF 15 and SPF 30 sun protection products, which were launched in February, and the first market reactions are already very positive. Also, other product formulations were developed last year, and in total we are planning to launch 10 new products for MADARA brand in the first half of this year. In the end of last year, we launched also our new e-commerce platform, which allows much more wider functionality to implement several e-commerce marketing tools. The new e-commerce platform will be the development will be continued also this year, and we hope that that until the end of this year we will have ready e-commerce platform with all the e-commerce marketing tools we are planning to implement. Also important to mention that last year we started ESG reporting, which shows our activities and policies regarding environmental, social responsibility and corporate governance issues. And we suggest to all our shareholders and investors to read our ESG report along with the company's financial reports, and they give information how we organize our business and how the results of financial reports are achieved. The ESG report is available on our homepage. Also, similarly as already several years, in 2017 we got we were listed among the top reputable companies in Latvia, We got the second place among all Latvian companies. We were in first place in our industry. Also, our chairperson Lotte was mentioned as the best company, one of the best company managers in Latvia, and we were listed also as company with one of the highest export potential among all Latvian companies. If we look at the trends and market situation, then in general the current situation is very positive for our company. In general, the cosmetics global market is growing 4 to 5% per year, and natural and organic cosmetics is the fastest growing segment in total global cosmetics market. And there are studies which predict that in 5-6 years period, the natural and organic skincare will take approximately 1/3 of the total global beauty market. Also, it is predicted that e-commerce and online retail will continue to grow and will be the fastest growing sales channel for cosmetics. And also for our company, the development of know-how in e-commerce and technical solutions and infrastructure is one of priorities, and we will spend significant part of the raised IPO funds for developing of our e-commerce know-how and technical infrastructure. This was briefly about the results. In the appendixes you can of this presentation you can find additional information about the company's structure and financial statements and indicators, which actually also were published on the Nasdaq news. And now we are open for your questions.
Uldis, thank you for the presentation. Now I will proceed with the questions in the order they were received. A reminder to those who haven't yet submitted their questions, you can do it in the questions section in the settings panel zone. So the first question is to Uldis. Can the management comment on which markets outside Latvia the company regards as most promising and why? And will the Asian markets play an important role?
Yes, thank you for the question. As mentioned, 90% of our business is within European Union, and we see that in almost all our current European Union markets there is actually huge potential for further growth. And still, since in European Union, once the registration is done, you don't need to do the registration in each separate country, then it's much more easier and quicker at this current stage to grow in European Union markets than outside Europe. And we see that in next 3 years we will focus mainly on developing our current sales channels within European Union. And also, as said before, we are preparing distribution bases outside Europe. This year we started cooperation with distributor in United States, and this year will be spent mainly to participate on trade shows and to do the FDA registration. As we can see the difference that if we would like to start business in European Union, then we don't need additional registration. If we want to start business in United States, immediately there is additional registrations. There are different different things we need to take into account, and also probably change in our products. There was also a question about Asia. We see Asia as very big, and also for our brands potentially very good markets. Since 2008 we are successfully working in Japan. We are also working in Hong Kong, and we started last year also cooperation with Malaysia. So we see that in future Asian markets might become more important also for us. But first we are planning to focus on our existing sales channels in European Union.
Thank you. The next question is, how have you found the transition to a listed company status?
Thank you. It feels wonderful, and it was very natural step for us. MADARA Cosmetics was always transparent in regard to our ingredients and products. Being open is one of our values. For instance, our factory is open for general public, and everyone can come and see how we manufacture the products. Now, being a public company, we take our value openness to the next level.
Thank you. And when will we hear any news about dividends for 2017?
Thank you. Management of the company proposes to pay dividends amounting to 25% of the profits. However, the decision will be taken in shareholders' general meeting, which will take place in April this year. Thank you. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Uldis. And the final question is, in terms of this year's revenue guidance, which markets are expected to contribute the most to this growth?
Thank you. Currently our biggest markets are Latvia and Finland, which makes more than 50% of our sales. And we expect that Latvian and Finnish market will grow between 10 and 20%. since the brand positions are already mature. But we see that there is still quite a good potential for opening new sales channels in both countries. Then the rest of the other countries in Europe, then if you talk about other countries in Europe, then the biggest growth we are expecting from markets like Denmark, Sweden, Germany, Switzerland, also southern European countries like Italy and Spain. Also, as mentioned earlier, Italy is currently among our fastest growing export markets, and we see that this year we might open several significant customers in Italy, similarly in Spain. So we see that in other European markets there is actually potential to grow quicker than in Latvia and Finland, and in many of my mentioned countries there is potential to grow more than 30% this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Uldis. That was not the final question. We have a few more. So the next question is, what is the biggest challenge or business issue at the moment? Is it the workforce, costs, sales, production, etc.?
Actually, the current situation and position makes us feel rather comfortable. We have currently all the resources to grow, internal resources. We have a stable team. We have sufficient production capacity, and the processes are like in full operation. And of course, as for all companies, the biggest challenge is to increase the sales, to grow the turnover, to open new sales channels and customers. Currently, we are working on opening several new sales channels and customers. Of course, it takes time, but in our opinion, the potential is very good, and we feel comfortable. Thank you.
And this answers also the next question, that is, do you plan to increase number of employees in this year? So, as you mentioned, it is sufficient at the moment.
We are planning to strengthen our team. So for this year, we foresee that our team might grow for approximately 10 new employees, and most of them will be in charge of e-commerce, IT, and marketing. Thank you.
Thank you, Uldis. And next question is, will MADARA be able to improve profit margin even further in 2018?
We are planning this year will be probably more like investment year, and for this year it is important for us to launch the e-commerce platform in fully, to launch all the e-commerce marketing tools fully, to strengthen our IT infrastructure, and we see that for this year the profit margins will be approximately the same as previously. So for this year we see that this is more in investments here, and the profit margins might be in the same levels as in previous years. Thank you. Elizabeth?
In the balance sheet, what is the 500,000 euros that you state as short-term financial investments?
Thank you. Yeah, I would say this is actually cash flow management, and this is a short-term investment which we can transfer back into money in 2 weeks time. Thank you.
What percentage of turnover do you expect to make with your e-commerce platform once it is fully implemented?
Currently, our own e-commerce platform makes approximately 1/4, 25% of the turnover, and we see that when the e-commerce platform will be launched in full operation within next 3 years, the proportion of our own e-commerce platform might be approximately 1/3 of our revenues.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining our webinar. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.